the demand side, where the middleman is practically a henchman, a race to the bottom, a race to cut costs, a race to give this person who wants an organ, hygienic or unhygienic, to procure it at low cost and just shove it on him. What is the kind of thing that you're going to do? We say that it's going to be a race to the bottom. Because why free market, right? And Nanda explained this to you beautifully in his first speech, but I'm going to cover it slightly again. It is not an abstract idea that we think of. It exists only because it is in the context of promoting fair exchange and was determined that it will be the best way to promote fair exchange. We say in this case it doesn't happen for multiple reasons. First, the person who donates the organ is someone who's already in a situation of penury. When you sell your house to feed your kids, right? When you don't have a regular supply of income, when you're going to cut off your kidney to feed your kids, when you're in an even worse state, that's what we're talking about. In this situation of penury, we ask you, are you a person who can negotiate a fair price when you have no capacity to wait? You just want whatever you can get as quickly as you can. So that's the kind of buyer we're talking about. That's the kind of seller we're talking about. The buyer is no better. He's a person who's going to die in a few weeks and really needs this to live. Is he going to be able to sit and negotiate across the table you in crisp suits and a red tie? Possibly not. That's what we're trying to tell you. And the free market will correct itself will not work. So then what did they tell you to correct these inequalities? First they told you that the main problem of the free market, which is distribution, will not work. Because what is the standard of these at the beginning? First come first serve. You need it the most, you come to us, we determine your economic capacity, we price discriminate, we give you the organ. They said the standard was first come first serve. But if you notice the nuance in Shauna's speech, it was not first come first serve. It's the first person who comes and pays the most. Which means, tell me, in the absence of price discrimination which our model provides you, how are they going to give access to the people who need it, to the poor people who need it, right? They are not going to be able to do that. In response, they told you a lot of fancy things, and let me deal with those things. The first thing they told you is that we don't have to give it to poor people because there is no entitlement to organs because it is rare. This logic is observed. Food is also scarce. Food is also rare. You can't grow all the world's tomatoes in one pot, so everything in this world is rare. That doesn't mean you can't give it to anybody. Secondly, Karthik Sriram told you, you cannot give it to anyone, therefore you must not make access equitable. Again, stupid. If the state can step in and make sure that access is as fair as possible, the fact that it can't plant the kidney in every 6 months in abdomen is no reason not to try at all. That is again an absurd standard that they put in this debate, making it infinitesimally no burden. The third thing that they told you is this fancy idea that somehow all of this will be solved because whenever poor people need it, the state will step into the market and buy. We tell you that look, there is a severe demand problem, there is a severe supply side problem, there is a severe problem of coordination. Even if the state steps in and buys, at what price is it going to buy? And the state is going to cater to the needs of a really desperate man that's swooping in the last moment. It is going to be as pressured to take a high price as anybody else. We did in the Supreme Court, and they say that the state must buy in every case and sell in every case, which is going to solve the problem of private exhaustion and other things that we are pointing out not existing. Then they are proposing our model, and we deserve to win. So the last thing that they told you is that you can solve all these problems by promoting information. First thing, tell me how a farmer in some hinterland in Orissa who cannot read is going to figure out what Flipkart is saying or the exchanging price of commodity market and where he is going to look at it and what he is going to Google to find this out. But even in a say that you know information, right? We tell you that information is only relevant with regulation. And we know that the fair price is 10 rupees. I will be in such a desperate position that I have no option but to pay 30 rupees. This happens in fact to Menak and Nanda when they really want the cigarettes in the middle of the night and there is no shop open and just one shop open. They know what the fair price is. They're very smart guys, as you've already seen. But as a speaker, they're forced to buy at a higher price because there is no coercive authority in the state to step in and stop this from happening. That is cigarettes, but this is an organ which I need to live. And don't tell me that these two things can be Finally, they spoke to you about innovation, diversification. Right, so all these functions thought by hiring experts on the organ donation board and paying them a lot of money, subsidizing research, this kind of stuff. Second, given that this is going to be a profession with inherently an incentive to raise to the bottom, which means procure the organ at the cheapest price possible, sell it to the desperate man who doesn't care about the standards of hygiene at the cheapest rate possible, and make all as much profit as I can on a sarcasm.
Official copying going out, that is the state has 3 organs available and it is to give it out according to its so-called basis. Can you tell me what a fair basis is to give
Thank
it
you so
3
much for
organs?
reminding me that main argument of worthiness. They assume that we have value standards of worthiness like tobacco, lifestyle choices. We do not. Our argument, our standard of worthiness in this debate is need and first come first served basis. Their standard is the ability to pay. Tell me how one is more fair than the other. Our side surely wins this debate. That is the second thing that they told you in this debate, Madam Speaker. And this is where I come to the magical solution of how competition will solve all problems. First, we say that competition will not solve all problems in this situation. Why is that? We see how a market with few intermediaries and many buyers work and many sellers work. See, many people who are selling organs cannot coordinate with each other because of geographical differences and things like that. But these intermediaries are friends, people with resources to do these kind of things and run these businesses are fairly few. They, even though not explicitly, are going to coordinate with each other to pick the correct price which they think is going to give all of them equal amount of profit. The same reason this tacit agreement exists between industries is why, for instance, the airline industry, though it can, does not slash prices by a great degree. The same reason why all products in the market sell at fairly the same price. You may have competition law, and by the way, competition itself is regulated in this country. You may have a competition law, Madam Speaker, but that doesn't even solve the problem that they're talking about. So what we're telling you from the beginning, that finally some nonsense called East Timor and NGO. Who said the state is only going to procure from within the state? That's the rebuttal to that. Second, for NGOs, why should discrete charity organizations substitute your right to get an organ when you deserve it because you have the right to live and you have the right to live, as Nanda already explained. That I think really takes down a large portion of their case. We have increased access, we have increased equity because we have a more rational standard. We have not stamped out the problem of incentives, we have given fair prices. We are treating people who are backed up against the wall, the vulnerable people that the state needs to protect in the most fair manner possible.